Welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. Kenya currently, according to verified data, has the most expensive fuel in East Africa. In fact, Ugandan fuel is retailing below 200, both diesel and petrol. I will come to that later. I have compared the costs in Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, etc., the East African countries, and Kenya has emerged the only country with the most expensive fuel. Ruto recently defended the high cost of fuel in Kenya. And his argument was that Kenya is more developed than countries like Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, and others. That is why the cost of fuel here in Kenya is expensive compared to those countries. From economists, that argument was referred to as lame excuse that has no substance whatsoever. It is as Kenya is more developed than the East African countries, and that is why its fuel is expensive. Really? Can we listen to what William Ruto said at that time? It's about 3 weeks ago.
Has defended high fuel prices amid growing public concern, saying Kenya's costs reflect its status as a middle-income economy. Sheila Chelangat reports.
In Nairobi, a litre of petrol is retailing at about 197 shillings, placing Kenya among the most expensive fuel markets in East Africa. The price higher than in neighbouring countries such as Uganda and Tanzania, raising questions over cost differences in the region.
Our neighbours are least development countries. There's a big difference. If you want to compare Kenya fairly with others, compare Kenya with other middle-income countries. That is how you will get the figures right.
He also attributed price pressures to global factors affecting fuel supply.
Middle-income countries like Kenya possibly have higher prices than Kenya, or the same.
The remarks come after the passage of the Value-Added Tax Amendment Law, which reduces VAT on petroleum products from 16% to 8%.
Because when I hear many people threatening you, saying they will bring Nairobi to a close, and I stop and wonder, how does it help if you threaten Kenyans with chaos, if you threaten to bring Nairobi to a close because of fuel prices? How will that help to bring the price of fuel down?
Tax and levies continue to account for a significant share of the pump price, a policy the government says supports infrastructure development.
The 6,000 kilometers we are constructing at the moment in Kenya is equivalent to all the tarmacs in our neighboring country, which has been built for 60 years. Sasa jameni, tujue vile mambo inaendelea. And we are setting our standards even higher. We want to do another 28,000 kilometers of tarmac in the next 7 years.
Fuel prices remain a key concern for consumers, with pressure mounting on the government to deliver long-term solutions. Sheila Chelangat for TV 47.
As I am speaking today, Kenya is selling fuel, that is diesel and petrol, above 200. And diesel has gone even over 240. I have a good memory. I have a very sharp memory. In around April 2022, just a few months to the general election, William Ruto held a public press conference and questioned why fuel in Kenya is more expensive as compared to the fuel in Uganda, yet Uganda gets its fuel from Kenya. I remember that question, and if you are in this country, you can remember how Ruto got so serious on this issue. And Kenyans, to some point, believed in him. He asked the government of Uhuru Kenyatta, tell us why fuel in Uganda is expensive as compared to the fuel in Kenya, yet Uganda gets its fuel from Kenya. So today in this particular platform, we want us to know who really is incompetent on matters economy. Can we listen to what William Ruto said in April 2022?
The people telling us about Ukraine and Russia are also telling us that there is no shortage of fuel. They are also trying to blame oil marketers. So they are even conflicted in the reasons why we have an artificial crisis in the country. From their own statement, they are not sure of what to say. Is it because of the war in Ukraine, or is it because of the crisis with our oil marketers? Which is which? And that goes to tell you that this crisis is orchestrated, and it is as a result of the cartels and barons who have taken over, using conflict of interest and state capture in our economy. I mean, a straight answer would be, how come that fuel in Uganda is cheaper than fuel in Kenya? So, and yet the fuel being sold in Uganda goes through Kenya. That tells you that that kind of explanation is escapist and has no basis whatsoever. We should address ourselves to the crisis that is there in the country and the monopolies that have taken our fuel and economic sector captive.
Kenyans of goodwill, let me use this opportunity to also ask the same William Ruto, and allow me to ask him, can he come out in public and tell us why fuel in Kenya is more expensive today as compared to Uganda, yet it is in the public domain that Uganda gets its fuel through Kenya? So can William Ruto come and hold another press conference like the one he held in 2022 and answer Kenyans why our fuel is more expensive than that in Uganda, yet Uganda gets its fuel through Kenya? Can he come out and explain to us? That is all we are asking. If you're watching this, make sure you click the subscribe button and remember to turn on your notification bell. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next episode. Asanteni sana.